We are live. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to day 5, final day from loneliness to super loved. Thank you very much for joining and doing this course. And for the final day today, we are going to work off of where we closed on yesterday, day 4, and really jettison off into SuperLoved in today's content, in today's lesson. And if you remember last night, we finished by introducing superpowers as the solution to loneliness, or one of the infinite array of solutions, as it were. But if we are to feel and be, exist, experience, believe, know, trust, to be super loved, we need to be super powered. And when I say this, it's not to the love is not enough. It's not to fuel that dynamic, as in to create a distance of lower, meaning anything to higher. That's not the intent behind this. It is to shine more awareness on love itself. From the frame of cleaning any fear that is distorting the clearest picture of love, from the evolutionary standpoint that everything is getting better and better and better and better, from the learning, from the innocence, from the innovation, from the perspective of an open mind that questions the givens, the status quo, and questioning limits for the vision of limitlessness. And SuperLoved is the always present waves of growth to even more and more and more exponential levels of creativity, of evolutionary advancement. The creativity of conscious evolution. And the play of intelligence going from finite to infinite. There is always a cutting edge. And the more hot the passion is, the more the skills, talents, abilities that come from passion, in other words, the possible to impossible, the spectrum of difficulty of perceiving what that means, what that does, will appear to be super powered compared to the lower levels of consciousness in which the limits still exist. And it is calling attention to a frequency game that we're all playing here from an evolutionary standpoint, from being unconscious to conscious, and then the mastery of consciousness from self-conscious to self-awareness. And as we've gone on this journey of the transformation and evolution of loneliness, we've submerged into the depths of the pain. We've charted into the uncomfortable territories and triggers around our relationship to loneliness. We've revealed new choices and possibilities and the doorway of what freedom from loneliness means. And now we're painting a vision at the edge of what we know is possible right now. Because the ignition of your passion, the empowerment of your imagination, the fruits that come from the freedom of your mind and body opens up the expression of your superpowers, which represent the connection to your quantum self, which is inherently what the longing of loneliness is truly after, when it is no longer preferred from that evolutionary standpoint of perpetually being on those waves at that level of awareness. So we've shifted the focus, we've shifted the frequency, we've seen through the facades of personalizing the emotion of loneliness to the most serious of degrees. We've lightened up the muscles of your mind to tune to new thoughts and to walk away or away metaphorically from the autonomous automatic comfort zone, and to get closer and closer to yourself, to love, to take away the barriers between reality and make believe, by superpowering yourself, your passion, your signature way of being yourself, or larger than life in the context of being a victim of fear versus choosing love. And going from the survival of the fittest human condition to writing or to being written, to writing the narrative that excites you the most, but in the most simplified being is truth. The highest truth for you. And, you know, what's coming up for me, super powered, superhuman, represents stepping outside of the box. Stepping outside of the box. Of limitation, bondage, suffering, low power. The cleanest link to the quantum self. The cleanest flow of truth. The purest flow, form of imagination. The both awareness of the hero's journey, but also the metaphysical mastery of understanding the hero's journey in itself to win. To perform the best. To go from hero to superhero. Life to larger than life. The cutting edge, the bleeding edge, the razor's edge of consciousness. Where the majority of people are not willing to go because it's still fear. Fear still has power over them. Those that are willing to risk it all, and those that are missioned or natured and nurtured to approach the unknown, the 0 point, the hottest fire. Not for the faint of heart. All right. it's pretty damn near hard not to love life, love yourself, when all falseness is stripped away, when all delusions are resolved, and when all obstructions and neuroticisms to the essence are revealed, exploded. So I want to take the last few minutes of this day. Please share what you experienced, what went down, what questions came up, what breakthroughs or realizations or epiphanies you had along the way, what you're still confused about, and I please share that. And I want to honor and thank you for doing this and transforming something that is so hard coded in the survival of the fittest operating system. And thank you for showing up for you. And yeah, I think maybe we have time for let's do one question. One question, and I'll let Amber come on here and read it. Could either be one of the past ones or something that's present right now. But let's do one question and see where it takes us.
Okay, so what's presently coming up now is you know how we have it, we're in this awesome space feeling super loved, and it's amazing and it's so crystal clear, and then somehow the neuroticism starts to come back up, like in small pieces until it starts to get blinding. And how do we, and then we think that we're no longer superhumans. So how do we, like, are we no longer superhumans at that point? Like, have we thrown ourselves off, or are we still superhuman for even still trying? Like, how does that work? Like, how does that work when those things start to creep back in and it starts to get confusing again?
Ultimately, it is up to you to define your meaning. And there's the different aspects of your evolution. Healing, freedom, mastery. the species level labels are big picture. It is a very high or deep lens to be conscious of. When I say lens, I mean, think about a microscope where it has those three, you twist it, it has three different focal points, right? Different zoom levels.
Yes.
So when we talk about the species, we're on a very big level of individual versus collective understanding of who we are, what we are, our relationship to it, and all those dynamics, right? So there can be the understanding and the experience like we're having today of the super powered love, the super loved, and feeling superhuman, and believing the passion, and it's real. There's no doubt. There's no skepticism. There's no neurotic overthinking and things that are weighing the spirit down. And that's because it's the opposite of what we think. Freedom is the subtraction of everything. The superpowered is not because we're standing on a soapbox. We're not putting a foundation down in order to build a building that we're standing on top of. And that's the opposite that I'm talking about. Is we can mistake the amped up superpowers as, oh, we're standing on something firm and we're really high. We're, that kind of energy, right? And so we think it's a build at that point when we mistake freedom as something that else that is an addition to us, that is a like a jetpack, like we're wearing a jetpack or something that's outside of ourselves is helping to give it. So then when we kind of experience waves or more thoughts of negative energies or whatever the dynamics are, it feels like we lost this. So in your personal crafting of the meaning of superhuman or superpowers, it's up to you to see the truth and to be honest and vulnerable to the weaknesses. But ultimately, from the big picture level, if you've made the shift, if you understand the mastery, if you understand the game, you're always going to be in the awareness of the new superhuman operating system, even if there are drops in the healing and in the learning and the growth of personhood versus presence, truth from illusion, time versus timelessness, mind versus imagination, self-conscious versus self-awareness. There's all these different, from a craft level, ways in which the soul is still learning or experiencing contrast and pain and negativity and the art of identity versus freedom, or all words to kind of point at it. But you having that allegiance to the truth, presence versus personalizing, will allow you to see and be much quicker, much not quicker, but swifter at understanding the collective versus individual frequencies that are happening as you navigate your ship. As you become more less in conflict with yourself, taking things less personally, but being more self-aware. Quiets the victimization of the actions of the mind, because you're not seeing it as a person anymore. On the most subtle observance of your awareness, the most subtlest of levels, you're seeing it, and you're just it's speaking the truth and a neutrality without the over identity, because you're in the healing, you're in the freedom and understanding the mastery with imagination technology, with your imagination technology. And that means imagination technology as the more holistic understanding, quantum understanding that there is a body, there is a mind, there is a spirit. You're neither the body, the mind, the spirit. You're either the body, the mind, the spirit. And you're both, all the body, mind, the spirit. So when you get lost in the box of, I'm just the body, I'm just physical, nothing else exists, like the skepticism of it's just my body and that's real, nothing else is real, then you're lost in that. Or the neurotic overthinking. You totally disregard the body because it's all mental. It's all the noise, and that's all that exists is the noise, and everything is real. That. Or just the spirit. It's the religion and maybe in the denial of the body and the mind, because you're just so immersed in that. And so the permutations are very, very complex, but in the imagination technology, it's the awareness of it all gives you the freedom from what you're not. And the more clear you are on the big picture, the more the truth can flow. Even when you're disempowered, it's like space from the illusions, space from the seriousness, in order to see it for what it is. and to slow down the rush to the stillness of one breath at a time, so that your imagination technology can operate as efficiently as possible, or in a super powered sense.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So that does it for our beautiful week from loneliness to super loved. I've been Jeremy Lassman, and I look forward to seeing you in something at the cutting edge next. Bye, everyone.